What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. Here we are with the July 2nd Raw Super Show review. 3 episodes out from the 1000th episode of Raw. I was about to say 100th, but I didn't botch. Go me. Who's excited about the 1000th episode of Raw? I'm excited about the 1000th episode of Raw. I want to see the show go 3 hours and prove that they can do it right. I want to know who the new GM is going to be, etc., etc., etc. Now, the big rumor going into this week's Raw was that Rey Mysterio was going to be coming back in this week's episode of Raw. And, talking to my good buddy Preston, I told him I would give him 5 seconds of silence on this video to mark out if Rey Mysterio did in fact return. Unfortunately, he did not, and that's not a shot at Preston. That's just a literally, hey, I would have given it to you if he had come back. But 2 things we did know going into this show was the main event was going to be Cena and Punk versus Jericho and Bryan. And we knew that Teddy Long was going to be the general manager of the evening. So, lots and lots and lots of tag team matches were on our horizon, for sure. Everybody says, hey, whenever Teddy Long's around, everybody gets a tag match. Everybody's involved in a tag match. And I wanted to be, hopeful. Maybe this time they'll do something different because it's only a one-off. And, prove the naysayers wrong. But, no. Many tag team matches is indeed what we got tonight. But because it's a WWE show, we gotta open up with Cena. Cena comes out complaining about the Big Show and Jericho double teaming him last week, talking about how he's never been in the Money in the Bank, talking about how it's a situation he's used to where he has no friends, only enemies, and it's like, yeah, you have no friends. Take the hint. Anyways, moving on, he says, I'm going to win, as he always does, and Bryan interrupts, yesing all the way to the ring. First thing he says is he gets right in Cena's face and reminds Cena that he is irrelevant, and that made me mark. Oh, yes, it did. He also points out, Cena, if you win this briefcase and cash it in on me, you will be the first Money in the Bank holder ever to lose on a cash-in. He's then interrupted by Punk, asking everybody if they disagree with Daniel Bryan. He says, John Cena, do you disagree? Jerry the King Lawler, do you disagree? I disagree. Does the WWE Universe disagree? Yesing all the way. Bryan starts losing his shit, calling everybody a copycat, saying everybody stole the yes chant from him. Punk reminds him that his psychotic ex-girlfriend will be the referee this Sunday, and if he wins the match and John Cena wins Money in the Bank, and he turns to John Cena and he says, we get to go at it one more time, which is fine and wonderful. Jericho comes down and he tells Punk that he's a wannabe. Punk turns around and calls Jericho Bon Jovi, which is wonderful, I suppose. Then Jericho turns his attention to Bryan, who will eventually be his tag team partner tonight, saying, you have to have more than one catchphrase, and then he goes, please shut the hell up, Raw is Jericho. I'm going to never, ever be the same again. And then he turns to the crowd and says, I'm going to win Money in the Bank. I dare anybody to come out and tell me otherwise. Kane, with the comedic timing that he has, makes his way to the ring, grabs a mic, and says, otherwise. Then we hear Big Show's music, and before Big Show can even get to the ring, everybody in the ring involved in a giant melee, and Big Show stands tall at the end, because, they're trying against hope to actually push the Big Show as somebody that's important. Moving on, we have not just a tag team match, we have an 8-man tag team match. Oh yes, with the primetime players, Cody Rhodes and David Otunga take on Truth, Santino, Kofi, and Christian. Oh, why is Christian stuck in this group? It makes me sad. But anyways, Santino's a goofball, number 1. Fast-paced pile of people match, and if anybody who's new to my channel, go back a few videos. I actually did a video a while ago on generic pile of people matches, and you can see what I mean by that. The one cool thing about this was most of the action was between the 2 actual legitimate tag teams, Kofi and Truth, and the primetime players. Which makes sense because they are the champions and contenders, etc. Then we switch over to the Battle of the Jobbers with Santino and Otunga for a little while. tells his team, the primetime players, that they don't need this, they've got a title shot waiting for them, they don't need this, so they leave. When they leave, Cody Rhodes leaves, and now it is 4-on-1 on David Otunga, with Santino being the legal man. But with Santino being the legal man, a 4-on-1 advantage isn't enough, because Santino sucks that much. He needs Brodus Clay to come in and interfere too. Santino goofballs his way to victory. Cobra gets the win. 5-on-1 on David Otunga. I hope all of you are very, very proud. Oh, I can't tell you how much I didn't care about this match. Anyways, we go to the back where Alberto Del Rio is trying to kiss up and kiss ass to Teddy Long, because he's the general manager this week, and talks about the title shot that he never got, which is true. By the way, I've been saying that for a while. He earned himself a one-on-one title match and never got it. He earned himself a one-on-one title match the week after WrestleMania. He got it in a triple threat match. He got it in a fatal four-way, da-da-da-da-da, etc. And Teddy Long says, I don't think you deserve anything, but the board of directors has decided that it's going to be you versus Sheamus at Money in the Bank. So that's wonderful. He also says you have a surprise match next. Alberto Del Rio goes to the ring. His surprise opponent is Sin Cara, who he beats the living crap out of before he can even finish his entrance. Cross arm breaker, and Sin Cara basically gets taken out. The match never ever happens. We have AJ and Brian in the back. We have Brian coming up to AJ with a rose, trying to kiss her ass. I've always loved you. I've always cared for you. Da 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 da. AJ basically calls his bluff, tells him he's full of shit, tells him, you know, you're only kissing my ass because I'm the referee for your match at Money in the Bank, and then eats the flower right in front of him, which is super special. Next, we have Paul Heyman via satellite telling us more about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's made his decision. He will announce his decision at the 1000th episode of Raw. Triple H wants this match only for two reasons. He wants it because of all the money he's going to need because we're suing him, blah, 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 blah. And he wants it because it's his way out, and it's his... Basically what he says is once Lesnar beats the crap out of Triple H will have an excuse to retire and he'll never have to go out in the ring again. You know, he's lost it. He needs a way to go out and, you know, have an excuse to stop wrestling and just be the company man, be the family man, be the guy in the office in the suit, etc. And the line of the night has to go to Paul Heyman as usual. This won't be a match, it'll be a mercy killing. That was fucking beautiful. I like that a lot. You don't expect to hear something like that in PG WWE, do you? Which is great. We have another tag match. Oh, yes. When Dolph Ziggler and Vicky Guerrero take on Sheamus and AJ. I don't know. Sheamus is owned by Ziggler for the majority of the match. Sheamus, Superman's back, hits the white noise. Ziggler tags in Vicky at the last possible minute. The two of them brawl outside. The girls brawl inside. AJ hits a nice Shining Wizard on Vicky, which gets her and Sheamus the win. Absolutely. AJ runs backstage, all excited, all wonderful, looking for Punk. Finds Punk on the phone. Questions him over and over and over again about who he's on the phone with. He says it's his sister. She asks if he saw her match. He says no. She gets very, very noticeably disturbed, I guess we can say. Sorry guys, itchy nose. Heath Slater comes in and he says, oh, everybody thinks I'm so funny, everybody thinks it's great that I keep losing to these guys, da, da, da. I'm not a clown. And I'm like, oh shit, don't tell me he's fighting Doink. And then Doink the Clown's music comes on. Slater, to his credit, and although this builds bile in everybody's system, but Slater wins a match. But we can't have him go out on a high note. No, because it's Heath Slater. He's the resident jobber of Raw. So DDP comes out with no announcement, no reaction, no build-up, no nothing. Goes to shake Heath Slater's hand and gives him the diamond cutter and leaves. I'm cool with seeing DDP for a few seconds. I'm cool if he wants to come out and rip off a diamond cutter on somebody. No problem at all. Kane versus the Big Show in a no disqualification match. And literally, guys, I want you to look at this. Literally, that's all I have written down for this match. All it says, Kane and the Big Slow are awkward, giant goofballs, and Show gets the win. That's about it. Teddy runs into Eve Torres in the back because she's making her grand comeback. Nobody knows where she's been. There's no explanation, so I don't really know why they did this. Other than to say that Eve was sucking up to Teddy like trying to make it look like she wasn't like berating him the whole time Laurinaitis was around, and Teddy pulls out a big giant Eve name tag for her, puts it on her. That's cool. If I were him, I would have taken a chance to grab a little something, but whatever. It's Eve, she's hot, whatever. Eve and AJ run into each other, and basically Eve calls AJ a child, tells her to go run and cry in the corner somewhere or whatever, and AJ calls her bluff on so much shit. You just want attention. What are you going to do now? Laurinaitis is gone. You can't suck up to Teddy. You don't know who the next general manager is. You know, you can be on TV, you can be in reality shows, you can go try and be in movies, whatever. What are you going to do now to keep the attention on you? You just want attention. Tonight, if you want to know how to get attention, I'll show you. To which I say, And at this point, I was talking to people on Facebook, and it's like, that could mean one of two things. Either AJ is going to call out the Divas champion, which would be awesome, or she's going to fuck with Punk and Bryan some more. We have a flashback, and they've been doing these flashbacks all along, the, you know, favorite moments of Raw and whatever. I usually don't mention them on here, because usually they're kind of blah. Usually it's like Triple H's comeback is his comeback, you know. McMahon getting beaten over the head with the bedpan by Austin, you know, everybody. But I'm going to bring this one up only because it's one of my favorite Raw moments of all time, one of my favorite DX moments of all time, and that is when DX, back when DX was a 5-member or 6-member team, Triple H, or sorry, 5-member, that's right, Triple H, Road Dogg, X-Pac, Billy Gunn, and Chyna ride a tank up to the WCW Nitro taping and get locked out of the building and start protests and all this other. That was huge when it happened. This was one of the my favorite things WWE has ever done that wasn't actually like in-ring wrestling related. So I'm glad that I'm glad somebody brought that up anyway. I think they had Alberto Del Rio talking about it. I don't know why he was the one talking about it, but whatever. Tyson Kidd versus Tensai, and this was kind of funny on so many levels, because Tensai, he came in with a lot of fanfare, and now he's really, really, really a jobber. Basically, the match starts, Tensai tries to squash Kidd in the corner, misses, Kidd gets a quick roll-up and wins the match. That's it. That is all that happens. He's embarrassed, Kidd leaves and celebrates and whatever. Tensai beats up Sakamoto again. I'm really not... I don't get the whole I'm going to beat up my ring guy because I just lost the match. Why would you not just unleash a beating on the guy that just got the quick victory on you? But whatever. Tyson Kidd gets a victory. That is cool in my books. We go backstage. We see friggin'... Oh, this was painful to watch. We saw Bryan and Jericho battle of the catchphrases. It's like, yes, 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 never, ever, yes, yes, never, yes, ever, yes, yes, never, ever, yes. And it was, And then Punk, in true condescending Punk fashion, tells Cena that a lot has happened since he's been champion. He's learned how to be a leader. He turns to Cena and he says, just follow me tonight, kid, you'll be fine. I like that a lot. We go to an interview where Tyson Kidd's being interviewed about his victory, and he gets the crap beat out of him, including eating the face of a locker at the hands of Tensai. Oh, yes. Bryan and Jericho versus CM Punk and John Cena, and I'm like, there's so much I want to see in this match, and then there is Cena. Moving on. Jericho and Bryan take turns owning Cena for a while. It makes me a happy boy. Punk owns Bryan off the hot tag, and the Anaconda Vice is broken by Jericho. Cena and Jericho brawl up the ramp. Punk and Bryan have a great exchange from there because it basically becomes a one-on-one match. It basically becomes a preview of what we're going to see at Money in the Bank, doesn't it? Highlight of the exchange is a top rope superplex by Punk. AJ comes out, skipping around. The boys basically ignore her. They keep on going in the match. AJ finds a table, sets up the table on the outside of the ring. The guys keep fighting. She looks all sad, climbs the rope looking down at the table like she's going to jump through it herself. Bryan jumps up on the apron trying to stop her from doing it. Punk actually climbs up the turnbuckle with her to try and talk some sense into her. She plants a hell of a lip lock on Punk and then throws him off the turnbuckle. He falls, knocks Bryan, and the two of them fall through a table, and that's how we end the show. Little 95-pound diva AJ just put your WWE champion and your #1 contender through a fucking table. That's fucking amazing. That is an amazing cliffhanger way to end Raw, for sure. Now, Scorpio and MVP. The team of Jericho and Bryan, even though they were bickering a lot and they were kind of going against each other tonight, you couldn't put together a more over heel tag team, could you? Like, you can't... There are no two heels that are any more over in the WWE than those two, so making them a team was great. Bryan calling Cena irrelevant was amazing. There hasn't been a whole lot, at least that I can remember, of face-to-face between Bryan and Cena, and if we're going to see it in the future, for the very first thing to come out of Bryan's mouth to Cena to be "you're irrelevant," that's amazing. I like that the primetime players are getting face time and ring time and TV time with the tag team champions. Are the primetime players the best team in the WWE right now? No. I would rather a couple of other teams be in the spot that they're in, but they are a fun team to watch, and I'm glad they're getting time to develop, and I'm glad they're getting time to develop in the same space as the champions. It makes their number one contendership look legit. That's fine. Alberto Del Rio versus Sheamus is happening at Money in the Bank. I have no disillusions whatsoever that Alberto Del Rio is actually going to win this match, but I like that the match is happening finally one-on-one. Alberto Del Rio proved to us tonight that Sin Cara is not invincible. That is something that a lot of people have had a lot of qualms with, and I'm pretty sure him getting the living crap kicked out of him by Alberto tonight will put an end to some of that. Heyman's mercy killing promo was amazing. This isn't a surprise to anybody. Heyman on a mic, Heyman on a video camera, Heyman on my television screen at all is always awesome. AJ and Ziggler, let me talk about this for a second. They were in a mixed tag match. AJ and Sheamus, I really don't give a fuck about Sheamus. Ziggler and Vicky Guerrero, I don't really give a shit about Vicky Guerrero. But the two people that I wanted to shine in this match, AJ and Dolph Ziggler, were both able to shine, even though they were on completely opposite teams. And I think the way that that was done progressed a number of different stories, and I like the way they did that. The appearance of Doink was the appearance of DDT made me pop. I'm a mark for DDP. I remember, I don't like how he was used in WWE when WCW closed, but when WCW was still around, DDP was one of those guys that I like, and, you know, the Diamond Cutter is, you know, the precursor to the RKO. Randy Orton's on my Fave 5. Follow that train of logic. Tyson Kidd. I'm doing a video, fuck off. Tyson Kidd is not only now getting TV time on the A show, he won. There's three right there. TV time on the main show, and he won. For a guy that I've been a fan of for a long time and who I think should be a lot higher than he is in the company right now, that's 3 big steps in one night, and good for him. Fail. The team of Punk and Cena. I'm sorry, whenever there's a face versus heel thing now, they always put Cena and Punk on the same team because they are both face. But these two, well, maybe not these two, but part of Punk's rejuvenization, you know, the summer of Punk last year or whatever, sparked from him being everything that Cena's not, and his rivalry with Cena. So when you went so far to prove that they're so opposite and they're on such opposite ends of the spectrum, not even in the same book, etc., to put them on the same team always feels a bit off to me, but that's minor. Santino's a goofball, enough said. The fact that Cody Rhodes is buried on the losing team of an 8-man tag match is ridiculous. The ending to the 8-man tag, I'm sorry. If it was the other way around and the winning team had been a heel team, then yes, a 4-5 whatever on one would have worked, and it would have been cool and whatever. But their booking, I don't know if you've noticed this, and I said this at the cage match at No Way Out as well. They're booking the faces like heels, and I'm not cool with that whatsoever. Now, Fave 5, Punk got thrown through a table by AJ. Enough said. Orton is still suspended. Ziggler lost his mixed tag match, but in the end he looked great against the champion, so that's a win in my books. Miz is still off being the Marine. Good for him. Rhodes got buried on the losing team of an 8-man tag match. Also not very cool. MVP of the night has to be AJ, and this is going to be a running trend on here until something else huge comes along. But the MVP is AJ. I mean, like, she got more FaceTime tonight than I think anybody else on the show. I mean, if we want to count minutes and seconds, I might be wrong, but, like, she had a match. She had FaceTime in the back with CM Punk in that segment. She had FaceTime confronting with Eve. And she put, and I'm going to say it again, she put the champion and the challenger by herself through a table to close the show. She was the last face we saw at the end of Raw. She took out the champion and the challenger. And she's starting to have matches again, which means eventually somewhere along the line they're going to give her a shot at the Divas title. And by the time she gets the Divas title around her waist, it's almost going to seem irrelevant because she's been above it for so long. And what else can you say? She's nuts. She's hot. I love her. I'd take her if I could. Anyways, that's been your Raw review. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep this conversation going. Let me know what you think. Don't be a stranger, and I will talk to each and every last one of you later. Tagging out. Bye.